Hello and welcome people once again to yet another episode here on Live Signatures Radio. My name is Lawrence Namale and we are doing a new series we started yesterday. We're talking about how we can be able to benefit when we deploy our purpose pro bono. It's going to be a good series, short and crisp. And in the episode yesterday, I gave you the idea that yes, you need to earn from your purpose. You should earn from your purpose. But yes, at the same time, you should be able to deploy your purpose for free at some point in time. And in the episodes that are coming up, we're going to learn just about how we will be able to benefit when we do exactly that. How we can be able to benefit when we deploy our purpose pro bono. We're going to be looking at 4 ways in order to get those benefits. If this purpose podcast is making any sense to you and it's motivating you, it's instructing you one way or another, then it means that if you share it with someone else, it's also going to do the same thing. And the same thing and the same thing. And therefore, we've created this virtual incubator for purpose, productivity, and resilience that can be able to help us in this matter. So subscribe to this channel, whatever place it is that you are listening to your podcast. It could be Stitcher, Podvine, it could be Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, it could be Castbox, it could be whatever it is. There are very many outlets there that you are listening to these episodes. But if you just Google in any one of them, just search for Live Signatures podcast, you're gonna get that. You're gonna get Live Signatures, you're gonna get Live Purpose Podcast on Live Signatures Radio as the podcast handle, and subscribe to it and share it around. So today we'll get down to business. Even as we continue to build this foundation of this series, we're talking about 4 ways we benefit by deploying our purpose pro bono. Stay tuned.
Welcome to the Life Signatures Podcast with Lawrence Namale. Lawrence is a life coach, author, and keynote speaker who loves to tackle different topics on purpose, productivity, and resilience. His mission in life is to awaken all your boundless possibilities available in you. Life Signatures Podcast is dedicated to bring to reality every single person who knows that deep down in their gut, there's got to be more to life than this. And now, here is your host, Lawrence Namale.
Live Signatures episodes are brought to you by africanbooks.com, which is an online ebook platform that seeks to broadcast the African Christian voice to the world. As such, they have become a hub for African content, connecting African writers and publishers with a global reading audience. Publishing your books on their site is free and easy, with authors having full control over their content and the price they choose to sell at it. I was personally blown away by the concept that africanbooks.com is coming up with. Things like no content from their site or their app is going to be run on laptops so that people can easily copy. In other words, your content as a writer is restricted from digital multiplication or digital copying, so you remain intact with your information. And the other concept that I got so blown away with was the fact that in some time to come, in due course, africanbooks.com will be starting to announce African Writer of the Year. In other words, there will be competitions in all African countries to figure out who is the best published author. And I also fell in love with the fact that countries can actually compete against each other. We can have African authors going at it after each other, and your book as an author will be reviewed and have some stars and recommended upon that particular platform. The thing is that it's an answer to Amazon.com. You know, with Amazon, what happens? You've got to have an account in the Americas or whatever, or in Europe before you can get paid as an author. But here, the local currency is in play and the local means of getting paid are in play. So to get started, go to africanbooks.com as an author or as a publisher and even as a reader if you wanted to read your African favorite authors. Enjoy. So our running quote in these episodes is gonna be by William Blake. He said, "I sought my soul, but my soul I could not see. I sought my God, but my God eluded me. And I sought my brother to help him, and I found all three." Have you noticed how professional people deploy their services voluntarily to vulnerable people and they are not paid for the noble act? That is what they call corporate social responsibility. Of course, you've noticed how these corporate organizations, they champion this CSR. At some point in time, there's going to be a month that they set aside and they say, this is our CSR month. These two aspects are laudable today. The aspect of corporate social responsibility, and I want to take it to where it matters the most in our personal lives, so that it is not just organizations that are doing this CSR thing, it is also ourselves as an individual. Every time you see an organization doing a CSR activity, you need to ask yourself, hey, wait a minute, as an individual, what quote-unquote CSR, no, let's not call it corporate social responsibility, let's call it personal social responsibility, PSR. What is my PSR? This organization's CSR is giving blankets to this group of people and so on, or giving education to this group of people. But what is my PSR? You can even go further and you put FSR. What is my family social responsibility? What is my personal social responsibility? What is my family social responsibility? You see where I'm going? Because this thing is humanity. We are humane when we do this. We are basically living our purpose, so to speak. The most rudimentary way that purpose is exuded is when it serves others, when it benefits others. And of course, when I'm talking about purpose, I'm talking about you also benefiting and earning from your purpose. When you create value, that value is supposed to be paid for. But then there's a group of people in this world who need to extend. There's a group of people in this world who cannot pay for your services, but they need it. How can you be able to help them? So the question is, what is pro bono? Because we're talking about deploying your purpose pro bono. What is pro bono? Pro bono is a Latin word that means, when translated, voluntary professional service of a specific skill that is not paid for. Voluntary professional service of a specific skill that is not paid for. Did you realize that your purpose is a professional service? Oh, I can camp there for 1,000 days just to tell you that purpose is professional. It is spiritual, yes, but it is also professional. If you approached your purpose with excellence, you cut a niche with brand excellence and execution. It is a profession. It is a profession that you should not take lightly. Just because it's a personal purpose doesn't mean that you should do things in a rudimentary way. You need to be so professional in the things that you're doing. You need to be so good at what you're doing. Therefore, it's a professional skill that you're deploying. But guess what? When it comes to doing this pro bono, you are doing it not at a lesser extent because it is not paid for. Let me explain. Just because you are giving a speech pro bono and you are normally being paid, you normally get paid $20,000 to give a 1-hour speech. God, I pray I get there one day. to give a 1-hour speech, you're given $20,000. Just because today you're going to do it pro bono, it doesn't mean you don't approach it the same way you would when you're doing it in a professional setting where you're going to be paid the $20,000. If you're going to be given $20,000 to do that speech, you will prepare, you will scour the internet, you will look for analogies, you look for stories, you look for emotional connections, you do some research, you do the whole 9 yards to do your work because you're going to be paid. But when you're doing it pro bono, you will deploy it the same way. You will look for analogies, you look for stories, you will put your best foot forward because you're also doing it to a group of people that need that service. So you're not going to approach it in a lackadaisical, lazy way because nobody is paying me for this. We are going to learn just about how you're going to get paid from this pro bono, and paid is in quotes later on. So listen, pro bono is acutely different from being a volunteer, yet slightly related to being an unpaid intern. Pro bono means that you are fully qualified to do it, you are seriously a professional to do it, you could be paid for it, but you are doing it to your full capacity and you're not being paid, and you know that. You are not a volunteer. Totally different. You are not an intern. You know those interns when people are coming out of college and high school and university, they are put into an organization as an intern to learn the work and as they do. No, here you are not an intern. You are thoroughly professional. And when you're doing this service, you're doing the service to someone who needs the service, but they are not able to pay for it. So typically an intern gets an opportunity to work within a firm in which she hones her specific skills, her professional skills. She's not there yet. That interning boosts her career. The inherent word here is specialization that we are using. In a volunteering format, you are making yourself available to help any community, any task, or otherwise that is not necessarily a part of your skill or your profession. So let's say you're a speaker, but in the community there is cleaning going on, cleaning trenches, picking up litter and so on. You're volunteering. That is not pro bono. Pro bono is specifically professional in your specific skills, and you've honed those skills and you're being paid for those skills. You always get paid for those skills, but right now you're exuding those specific skills to one person in need, but you're not going to be paid. So if you're a lawyer, you can do pro bono work. If you're a speaker, you can do pro bono work. If you're a writer, you can do pro bono work, right? If you're a podcaster, you can do pro bono work, and on and on and on. And I've done some of that in but of course this these episodes are always unpaid for. But sometime back in episode number 1167, I did a pro bono where I used my podcasting professionalism to interview a mother whose daughter is having a rare disease, as in so rare it's uncanny. You can listen to that episode 1167, Shami Uwera, and whose daughter is called Juru Banks, and just learn from it. I was using that specific skill of podcasting to do something for someone for free. You understand where this is coming from. So that is what pro bono is all about. It is volunteerism, and it is not doing something in terms of an intern. That's where pro bono is different from those two. So we are going to be talking about your purpose and pro bono, continuing in the succeeding episodes that are coming up. And therefore, even as we build up, we're going to end up talking about the 4 ways in which you get to benefit when you deploy your purpose pro bono. So, question is, do you know your purpose? What is it that you do professionally? Have you considered deploying it in a pro bono way? Today, start considering that. You will notice that there are very many people out there that will need your services, and the moment you help one human being, you have no clue what chain of reaction that you're creating in the universe that is going to help, and it might come back to you full circle some days, some weeks, some years, some decades later. Tomorrow we continue talking about these things. Until then, bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Life Signatures Radio. If you enjoyed today's show, subscribe to Life Signatures Radio on iTunes, Stitcher, or visit our website at lifesignatures.libsyn.com. Life Signatures Radio, fresh, clean, and inspiring.